my name is Katya and today I'm going to show you how to crochet these super adorable apples. They're very easy to make. All you need to do is work single crochets in the round, then we add a stem and a leaf, and I'll show you how to do all that. So let's get to it and create something great. For this project I'm using number 4 medium weight yarn. Here I have it in brown, green and red. You're also going to need your 4mm crochet hook and some sort of stuffing. I'm using polyfill and scissors and a tapestry needle. To start, we're going to work a magic ring. So wrap your yarn around your 2 fingers, hold it with your other finger, insert your hook into the circle and pull up a loop. Go back into your working yarn and chain 1. So here is your magic ring. If you don't want to do a magic ring, you can do 2 chains, and into your first chain work 6 single crochets, and into the magic ring we're going to work 6 single crochets. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We're going to pull on this tail and it should tighten our center. For round 2, you're going to need some sort of a stitch marker. I'm just using a piece of yarn and I'm just going to go ahead and place it right where my first single crochet was, right over here. And for round 2, we're just going to work 2 single crochets into each stitch around. So here's my first single crochet, and I'm just going to go ahead and work 1 single crochet into that stitch and work 1 more single crochet back into that stitch. So that's 2 single crochets, and I'm just going to repeat and work 2 single crochets into each stitch around. You should have 12 single crochets at the end of this round. For round 3, we're going to go ahead and remove our stitch marker and put it right over here where our first single crochet is. For round 3, we're going to work 2 single crochets into our first stitch and 1 single crochet into our next stitch, and that's the pattern. We're going to work 2 single crochets into the next stitch and 1 single crochet into the following stitch. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. You should have 18 single crochets. At the end of round 3, you should have 18 single crochets. Let's go ahead and pull out our stitch marker. For round 4, we're going to work 2 single crochets back into our first stitch, and into our next 2 stitches we're going to work 1 single crochet. And repeat. Work 2 single crochets into the next stitch and 1 single crochet into the following 2 stitches. Here's 1 and here's 2, and that's the repeat. So next I'm going to work 2 single crochets here and then 1 single crochet here and 1 single crochet here. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. You should have 24 single crochets. For round 5, we're going to work 2 single crochets into our first stitch. Here's 1 and here's my second one. And into the next 3 stitches we're going to work 1 single crochet. Here's 1, 2, 3, and repeat. Work 2 single crochets into the next stitch and work 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Here's 1, 2, and 3. Continue working and I'll meet you at the end of round 5. You should have 30 single crochets. At the end of round 5, you should have 30 single crochets. For round 6, we're going to work 2 single crochets into our first stitch and into the next 4 stitches work 1 single crochet. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's the repeat. Let's work 2 single crochets into the next stitch and work 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Three and 4. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. You should have 36 single crochets. At the end of round 6, you should have 36 single crochets. Now for round 7 all the way to round 14, work 1 single crochet around. So I'm just gonna move my marker and go ahead and put 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Like so. So continue working for round 7 all the way to round 14, and I will meet you at the end of round 14 to show you what to do next. So here I worked 14 rounds and this is how it looks like. Next rounds we're going to be decreasing and I'll show you how to do that. For round 15 we're going to work 1 single crochets into 7 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and into the next stitches, 2 stitches, we're going to work a decrease. And the way I work my decrease, I only go into the front loops, and that way it's going to look invisible. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up 1 loop, the front loop only, and go into the next stitch and pull up 1 more loop, the front loops only, so I have only 2 loops. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both loops like that and yarn over 1 more time, and that's our decrease. Next we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches, and that's our repeat. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and work another decrease into the next 2 stitches. So pick up only front loops. Here's 1, and go into the next stitch and pick up the next front loop and yarn over 1 more time and pull through both loops. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. For round 15 you should have 32 single crochets. So here I have my 2 stitches left and I'm going to do my last decrease of this round. I'm going to go ahead and put my hook through front loop and go into the next stitch and do the same, and I'm going to work my decrease. So this, at the end of round 15 we should have 32 single crochets. For round 16 we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and you should have 32 single crochets. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. You should have 32 single crochets. For round 17 it's another decrease round. So let's go ahead and move our marker, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and into the next 2 stitches we're going to work a decrease again. So let's go ahead and put our hook through front loops only and work our decrease and repeat. So we're going to work 6 single crochets. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and a decrease. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. And for this round, we should have 28 single crochets. So for round 17, you should have 28 single crochets. For round 18, all we're gonna do is work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So I'm gonna continue working, putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end. At the end of round 18, you should have 28 single crochets. For round 19, it's another decrease round. So let's go ahead and remove our marker. And we're gonna work 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and work a decrease. So pick up the front loops only and work your single crochet. And that's the repeat. So let's go ahead and work 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a decrease, like so. Continue working, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. You should have 24 single crochets. At the end of round 19, you should have 24 single crochets. For round 20, we're just gonna work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So continue working, putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. For round 21, we're just gonna work 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and work a decrease. And repeat. So work 4 single crochets. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1 decrease. So continue working, and I'll meet you at the end of this round. You should have 20 single crochets. For round 22, we're just gonna work 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Continue working, putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 22. Okay, so this is how it looks like so far. I know it looks like an egg more than an apple, but it's okay. We will make it look like an apple. The next thing what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and stuff. So go ahead and get your stuffing. I'm just gonna use a little amount of stuffing. And just stuff. So I'm just using little pieces of stuffing. I kind of like to separate my stuffing so it's nice and fluffy. And try to put a little bit more because it will help the apple hold its shape. I'm just really pushing it to the side. For round 23, what we're gonna do is work 1 single crochet into 3 stitches and then work a decrease. I'm gonna move my yarn marker and work 3 single crochets into the next 3 stitches. So here's 1, 2, and 3, and then work a decrease like so, and continue. Work 3 single crochets, 2, and 3, and a decrease. Continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. At the end of round 23, you should have 16 single crochets. For round 24, we're gonna work 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So here's 1 and 2, and then work a decrease. Like so, and repeat. So work 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So here's 1 and 2 and a decrease. At the end of round 24, you should have 12 single crochets, so continue working and I'll meet you at the end of round 24. For round 25, we're going to work 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Like so. And repeat. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. You should have 8 single crochets at the end of this round. So continue working and I'll meet you at the end of this round. Okay, so here I have my 8 single crochets left, and I think I'm going to stuff just a little bit more. And I know the hole is a little bit small, but that's okay, we could still do it. You don't need to add too much because we're going to be sewing that part together. You can actually use a pen, just the end of a pen, and just stuff it like that, or use your hook. You just need a little bit, you don't need too much. Once again, I'm pushing it to the sides. So I'm just checking to make sure my apple, I know it doesn't look like an apple, it looks more like a pear, but as long as my apple is full and it's stuffed evenly all around, that's what I'm looking for. So for round 26, we're just gonna work 4 decreases. So here is 1 decrease, 2. I know it's a little bit hard to do this, so take your time. 3. And 4. So we're just going to fasten off and leave a long tail for sewing. And we are done for now. So next thing what I want to do is go ahead and make the shape of the apple. I know it looks kind of funky right now. So let's go ahead and work on the shape of our apple. So you're going to need your yarn needle for this part. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert my hook right into the center over here and go all the way down to our round 1 that we started, right in the center, and pull out your needle like so. So there you have it. So carefully do that, And see, almost instantly it looks like an apple. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around our stitch like so and go back to our center where we finished like so, and you can push it out a little bit so you can see the stitches like so. And now this area looks like this. And we're just gonna do it a couple of more times. So pick up a stitch close to the center and go back to the other side, right in the middle, like so. And go back one more time. And again, back into the center, as close to the center as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And go back out into the center on the other side, like so. So there you have it. Our apple is formed. So this is the bottom and this is the top, and this is where we're going to add our stem and our leaf. I'm just going to leave it like this for now, and then we'll work on the tail as we sew on our stem and our leaf. To work our leaf, we're just going to slip knot to start and chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So into the second chain from the hook, not this one, but into this one, we're going to work 1 single crochet, work 1 double crochet into the next stitch, one treble crochet into the next 4 stitches, here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like so. Into the next stitch, work 1 double crochet, into the following stitch, work 1 more double crochet, and into the last stitch, work 1 single crochet, like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side, but first let's just chain 2. So back into this last stitch that we worked the single crochet, we're going to go ahead and work 1 more single crochet. And on the other side, we're just going to repeat what we did on this side. We're just going to go back and do the same thing. So work 1 double crochet, work 1 more double crochet into the next stitch, work 4 treble crochets, here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Oops. And a last stitch is just going to be 1 single crochet, like so. And notice I work my tail in so I can just cut it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and slip stitch into our first single crochet. And that's it. We're finished. Here's our leaf. Let's go ahead and fasten off, leave a long tail so we can sew our leaf onto the apple. And here's your leaf. Last thing we need to do is work on our stem before we start sewing our apple together. So let's go ahead and work a slip knot and chain 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into the second chain from the hook, slip stitch into that chain, slip stitch into the next chain. Here's our third slip stitch, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and we are done. Let's go ahead and fasten off, leave a long tail for sewing, and here's our stem. So here we have our pieces. So what we're going to do is go ahead and sew them together. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make a knot on my stem like so, and make one more knot. So I'm just knotting it so I can just cut the tail. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this little tail, the short end, like so. And I'm going to do the same thing on my leaf. I'm just going to knot it a couple of times. Don't do it too hard. Like so. And I'm just going to cut it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sew our stem onto our apple first. So here is our yarn tail, and I'm just going to leave it for now. And what I'm going to do is just right in the center, right over here, I'm just going to go ahead and put my stem to the side, right into the center, like so. And I'm just going to put a couple of stitches as close as I can to the center. So what I'm doing is I'm just going underneath and bringing my needle back on top like so. And it's okay if your stem is out of place for now. What I'm going to do next is go back into my stem like so. And I'm just going to put a stitch right there and tighten it. And here you have it. And I'm going to repeat. So I'm just going to go back into my apple as close to the center as I can. And I'm going to bring out my needle like so. And go back into the stem as close as I can, like so. And go back into my apple. Like so. And using any of the stitches on the side, I'm just going to go ahead and bring my yarn tail out this way. And just leave it, don't do anything with it. So I just put my yarn needle into my red yarn, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and put my needle to the center as close as I can and bring it out into the same stitch that I brought out my brown, like so. And just move it here gently, don't pull too hard, like so. So here we have our yarn tails here, and our stem is connected and sewn on. The next thing we need to do is sew on our leaf, and it's going to go somewhere here. And I'll show you how to do that. To sew our leaf, what I'm going to do is the same thing I did with my stem, is I'm going to go into the center and bring out my needle like so, just underneath my stitch, like so. And I want this to be facing me. Go back into the leaf. Here. And I'm just going to put one stitch and go back into the apple, into the center, and bring out another stitch like so. Oops, I just bumped the camera. Sorry about that. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and use one of the leaf stitches and just sewing it together. And one more time, I'm just going to go ahead into the center of my apple and bring out a stitch like so, and back into my leaf like so. And what we can do here is we can just bring it together with the stem so they're closer together. And I'm just going to bring my needle right into the stem, tighten it, and that should be good. So to hide our tail, we need to bring our green yarn right where we left the rest of the yarn tails, like so, into the same stitch, and just pull on it, and here you have it. We attached our leaf and our stem. And to hide our tails, we're just going to knot them together. Make sure they're in the same area. So let's just knot them together. Like so. Cut it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to hide this into our apple by using the end of our needle. And I'm just going to push on it. And that's going to make it go into the apple, into the stuffing. So here. So push on it as much as you can and just kind of hide it into the stuffing of the apple. Like so. And here's your apple. So shape it as much as you can. And there you have it. So here's our finished apple. So far I made 2 and I'm gonna go ahead and make a couple more. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe and I'll see you next time.